why, but for some reason this month I have a lot of makeup empties and basically that's it. Kind of changing things up. Anyways, if you are new here, this is my monthly beauty tracker where I keep track of what I bought, what I used up, and my end goal for each month is to have used up in monetary value more than what I have bought, especially now that I'm on a makeup no-buy. It makes it a bit easier because the temptation to buy is weakened by my motivation to sustain my no-buy. Let's just go straight into the makeup empties. This first one you probably are familiar with if you have been keeping up with my Back to Broadway Project Pan. This is the Physicians Formula. This dog is barking. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I had it in the shade Light Bronzer. It wasn't a great color for me. It was pretty orange, yeah, but it was a nice formula. And you know, it worked, so I used it up. This is priced at $15.99, so I'm very proud. This is the second bronzer I've ever fully finished in my life, so it's an event for me. I don't finish up bronzers every day. This second one is also from Physicians Formula, and you probably recognize it from that same Project Pan, and there is still product in it, but I roll it up and there's nothing that's sticking out, so I'm not gonna dig out of it because it's old. And I priced this for $2 because I got it in a set that was $5 with like 3 other things. And so I just priced it at $2 because I'm kind of counting some of the uses on items that I never finished. Now these next two items are both from e.l.f. and both just like everyday use products. This first one is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I had it in the shade Fair Rose. I don't know if you can tell, but it was very pale and pinky for me, so it wasn't my perfect shade match, sadly, and that is why I try to get a new shade. I'm currently wearing the new shade. I don't know how you can tell, but it's a little bit too dark and peachy for me, but I know that Fair Warm would be far too yellow, so I honestly don't know what to do. I'm considering trying out other concealers or formulas that I've had in the past that I liked and just using different ones. I do like this formula, but it's not like the most amazing thing I've ever tried. I think it works well for me, but I'm not so attached to it that I wouldn't consider using other concealers just because I want to find something that's my perfect shade. And I'm just really stuck at finding my perfect shade, I guess. I thought it lasted a decent amount of time for $6. I took the stopper out. I think I cleaned it as well as I could. You can't really see it that well. Since it's backlit for me, I can see that there really isn't any product in there. But yeah, it was a run-of-the-mill, it was a decent concealer, not the most coverage, but enough coverage for me. I would definitely suggest this if you didn't like the original matte one. That one was way too drying for me, so if you thought that was way too drying, then I would say give this one a shot. It's only $6. This next one from e.l.f. isn't technically an empty, but I'm done with it. It is the e.l.f. Keep Your Curl Mascara. I bought this on recommendation of Sarah Rose. I love her channel, but obviously mascaras are very personal to everyone, and I did not enjoy this. The reason I'm calling it done after like 3 months-ish is because it started drying out, but it just flaked a lot on me, and it honestly didn't do anything amazing for my lashes, as well as it was just a drier formula, and it was almost like a fiber mascara. It was hard to get off, and when it did, it came in like clumps. A lot of times the clumps fell in my eye. It would irritate my eyes a lot because it would just like, the specks would just get everywhere, and it wasn't cute. I'm fine with a little bit of flaking after a while, but this one was just too much. It wasn't, even though it was $5, I would not repurchase it. It was not worth $5 for me. Was it the worst mascara I've ever used? No, I've used some bad mascara, but that doesn't mean I want to put myself through this again. These next 3 items are a bit spoilery for an eyeshadow project pan, so if you don't want to see them, then like skip ahead a few minutes, I don't know. But they're not that surprising, let's be honest. This first one is this number 7 trio. Look at it, it's empty. Even though I didn't finish all the shades in here, I'm counting it as done because it took forever and I'm very proud of it and I want it to count. The reason I didn't finish all 3 shadows is because the 3rd shade fell out ages ago. It like, I dropped it once, it crumbled, I dropped it again, it was gone. I just dropped things, I guess. but they don't make these trios anymore. They have like a different format and then it's not the same color. I really enjoyed the middle shade formula. The top shade was very powdery and it wasn't very good pigmentation, but I used it as like a brow bone highlight or inner corner. It was like fine, but it wasn't great. The bottom shade, I honestly don't remember much because I haven't had it for years. But the middle shade was beautifully smooth and like a smooth satiny shimmer where you could put it all over the lid into the crease. It would just be so easy. I used it as my travel eyeshadow for a long time. I will miss it, but I'm glad that I finished it up and got my use out of it and was able to love it until it was completely gone. Because I did notice it was starting to be a little bit more powdery, especially once I repressed it. The formulation wasn't exactly the same, so I wanted to use it before it was just like a dud. Very proud of this. This was the oldest makeup item in my collection. I bought it for my freshman year homecoming dance. If you don't already know, I am a freshman in college, so I bought this before I got into makeup. This has seen a lot of changes in my life. I priced this as $9.99 because their current trios are that price, and I figure number 7 trios are probably the same price, even if they repackaged it and reformulated or whatever. I don't know, but that's what I priced it as because I think it was around $10 when I bought it. However, I do think I'm going to keep this packaging because it is very sturdy and tiny and so travel friendly. I feel like I'll just be able to reuse this, repress things. It's just such a handy little compact that I don't see why I would get rid of it because it is just really nice and it hasn't broken all these years. Now this next item is a little bit tricky to explain why it's an empty now. This is the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells quad. It looks very dead. I depotted it and got rid of the packaging a while ago because it broke. However, I did have some of that peachy pink shade franked into that blue eyeshadow I was working on in my eyeshadow project pan. And spoiler alert, I finished that. So this is finally done. This cost $2.99, nothing crazy, but I'm still glad that I can officially call this quad done. I did not finish all 4 shades. I decluttered the dark brown just because I didn't like it, honestly. I can't tell you why other than the undertone wasn't the best on me. It was like almost an olivey bronzy tone. It was a pretty color, I just didn't ever reach for it, and I had similar colors. I just don't reach for those colors that often, and especially not this formulation. It wasn't that amazing. So I'm considering it done because I finished 3 out of the 4 shades, and I'm very proud that I can say this quad is out of my inventory. Now the last empty of this month is not a makeup item. It is this Trader Joe's Nourish Oil-Free Antioxidant Facial Moisturizer. This costs $5.99. I use it because I have sensitive skin, and I found a moisturizer that does not make my skin freak out, which is sadly not always the case. A lot of moisturizers, I don't know what ingredient freaks out my skin, but it makes my skin red and irritated. So the fact that I found one that doesn't do that and it does a good job, I'm sticking to it because I don't want my skin to feel like it's burning. So that means I finished up a total of $47.96 in money for all of my empties. And speaking of Trader Joe's moisturizers, let's move on to what I bought. I did buy 2 of these as backups just because I finished this one. And while I was at Trader Joe's, I bought the Trader Joe's Zinc Oxide Mineral Sunscreen Spray for $9.99. And then I also, because I finished that mascara, I just wanted to be done with it. I got a new mascara. However, I told my dad while he was going to the store, I was like, hey, could you pick up a mascara? I'll send you the picture. I was like, okay, this CoverGirl Clump Crusher, just make sure it's not waterproof. Well, he got the waterproof one. Luckily, it's not actually waterproof. I should have known this would have happened. But he was going to the store, I needed mascara. I was like, hey, pick this up, please. I'm very grateful that he did for me, but yeah, I guess he didn't notice the water resistant part of it. It still comes off with water, so that confuses me, but I actually have been enjoying this. It flakes a tiny bit, but it's a lot better. I'm trying to remember if this is any different from the non-waterproof kind. I don't know. It's been a while since I've used it, but it's a solid mascara. I can rely on it to do a good job. So this is kind of just like my backup if I don't know what to get. I know I can use the Clump Crusher and it'll be fine. That means all I purchased was a total of $29.97. I think that's pretty good considering I am on a replacement only no buy. 3 of those items were replacements, and then 1 was just a skincare item that I thought would be helpful, especially because a lot of times I realize I forget to put on sunscreen after I put on makeup, so the spray over top really helps. I found that it didn't break down my makeup. Moving on to the declutter category, there is only 1 item in here, and it is this tiny eyeshadow. It was a depotted eyeshadow from a Revlon quad. I honestly never really used it, but I was testing it out the other day just because I was like, do you really want to pan this next year? I don't, because it was really powdery, and the thing is, it was like too blendable. It would just blend away and out, and it wanted to spread everywhere, and for a deep brown, I don't want it to do that. I want to be very focused and specific with my placement, and it wasn't that unique or amazing of a deep brown for me to keep it. I have other deep browns. I don't need to spend my time painting one that doesn't have a good formula and isn't as pigmented as it could be, so I'm like, we're just gonna say goodbye. We're not gonna waste our time here. So that was just a little random thing, but I thought I'd mention that I did declutter the shade. I'm keeping the pan though because it could be reused. So with a total of 7 items that I used up and 4 items that I brought in, my monthly money mark, aka the difference between what I bought and what I used up in money, is negative $17.99. So I say that's pretty good. I'm in the negative numbers, which is a good thing in this instance because I don't want to be spending more than what I use up. So I'm very happy with this. It wasn't super eventful, but there was a lot of makeup items, so that was kind of fun. And yeah, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you are having a great time, hopefully with family or friends or someone celebrating holidays if you do celebrate Thanksgiving. If not, I still hope that you are having an amazing day. Bye!